Victoria has returned back to zero coronavirus cases for the first time in a very long time through this pandemic. Anticipation now will be around the analysis today of remaining tests from the northern suburbs of Melbourne, but it sounds like much of that has been done, and a government announcement about reopening. But we still haven't got a time on Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews' media conference today. Now here's reporter Stephanie Ferrier in Melbourne.
It is a fabulous morning here in marvellous Melbourne. We are all terribly excited about this news, and there were real cheers of delight in the newsroom when those numbers came out, and across the city, no doubt, because this has been such a hard slog and we have finally done it. Zero new cases and zero deaths as well. So that is the 7th consecutive day we've had no deaths. Our death toll remains at 817, but those zero new cases, well, that's brought our all-important metropolitan 14-day rolling average down to 3.6, and in regional Victoria it's just 0.2, so that's 3.8 statewide. It is a fabulous, fabulous number indeed. We also have the number of mystery cases falling as well. They're down to 7 over the past fortnight, and that's down from 9 as well. So we're ever inching closer to that original target for those numbers of under 5 as well. And some of the comments that we've received into the ABC. Duncan Dan's double donuts. I think the donut emoji is going to be very well overused today by many Melburnians and Victorians here. We've also heard from other people who've said, you know, big ups to the members of the community in the northern suburbs who all went out there to get tested as a result of this recent cluster there. Victoria, you have well and truly done it.
Is there a bit of testing still to be analysed though there from the northern suburbs, Steph?
Yeah, so Jerome Weimar, who is the testing commander with the Department of Health, has actually said that there's been 2,100 tests so far that have already been processed from Saturday and yesterday as well. They have all come back negative, of course, but there are still a few tests that they'll continue to do and that they are still running through. So they obviously want to be able to ensure that they run through those properly to make sure that they don't have any lines of transmission or chains that they don't know about in the community, and they hope to have that information by the end of the day. Of course, what we did see yesterday was the Premier expected to make an announcement, and then that wasn't forthcoming, which he said it was a cautious pause just to be able to have a look into this cluster in the northern suburbs that's now spread to 39 cases across 11 different households. And he still did say that we should be on track for potentially reopening parts of the economy like hospitality, retail and many small businesses, but he wanted to just hit that pause button. Now, of course, that was met with a lot of frustration and anger within the community, particularly within business leaders who said that it had really caused a hammer blow to the confidence of many Victorians. And so we really don't know whether or not this might mean that we'll see something from Daniel Andrews as early as this morning, or perhaps if he'll wait until the end of these results before coming back tomorrow. But what Jerome Weimar said is he used the analogy of a takeoff. He said you don't want to commit fully to taking off. If you've got that amber light flashing on the dashboard, you want to make sure that everything is all okay before you take off and fly again. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Us all 5 million of us Melburnians, we're all committed to this. We all want this to be over, but fundamentally we need to have confidence that before we take that step that we've got this thing under control, because there is no turning back. As soon as we ease off these restrictions, we are then in a very different era. None of us ever want to go back to the place that we're in at the moment.
And Steph, to add to the optimism there in Victoria today, a good day for secondary students.
That's right. So we have the final cohort of secondary students going back 164,000 years 8 to 10s will finally finish remote learning. My goodness, it's been such a long slog for them. So that means that all primary and secondary students are now back. They are going back just as our Year 12s, our most senior students, are probably heading off to SWAT-VAC before their final exams. When they do go back, they'll all have to wear masks along with everybody else in secondary school, and there'll also be staggered drop-off times and pick-up times as well. well, just to ensure that we don't have too many parents and adults and people congregating once the school day is over. But a fantastic day for them as well, and things are definitely looking up here in Melbourne and Victoria.
And pretty promising in New South Wales today as well. The numbers have just come through for the coronavirus detections over the past 24 hours. Just one locally acquired case, and there were 3 new cases reported from returned travellers in hotel quarantine. And earlier this morning we heard Queensland 0 new cases as well. So things really looking up here in Australia in terms of getting on the top of coronavirus outbreaks.